Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So just in case you've been hiding under a rock for the past week, we did it! World record! So congratulations to Marcelino. He now has the world's fastest Fusion. Now, we could say Fusion Sport, but technically the Sport being the fastest of the Fusions, we're not aware of any Fusions short of NASCAR that are actually going faster in the quarter mile. So huge congratulations to Marcelino. He did a great job. I'm not going to waste too much time here talking today, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to get out of the way and make sure that we gave mention to. The first one is you from xtreme-di. He was absolutely wonderful. He got us a xtreme-di 35 fuel pump out for the car. We got that installed just in time for the event. If you remember, we were on the dyno and the car was running out of fuel. We were really hoping that we could, get the car to just squeak by with, with the stock fuel pump. But we realized we really didn't want to chance it. The car is, too important. It's his daily driver. We just did not want to risk running the car lean and hurting the motor. So you got us a fuel pump out in short order. The second shout out is going to be to the guys at MAK Autosports. They're the ones who actually installed the pump. They're also the guys, they run a shop down in Miami. I'm up in West Palm here. It's about 3 hours to get down there in traffic. And they were cool enough to let me come down there. And even though they tune their own cars and I'm a tuner, they were still super cool. They let me hang out there, use their office to work on the file and kind of tweak a couple of things. I actually got Marcelino's car running on a flex tune right now because we didn't know what ethanol content he was going to end up at. So I kind of customized a little bit of a flex tune. It's not 100% perfect, but for the purposes of what we were doing, it actually worked really well. And it allowed us to kind of, while we were at the track and I'm analyzing the data and analyzing the injectors, we could just, okay, throw an extra gallon of this in there. Okay, that's too much, throw an extra gallon of this. And we could kind of go back and forth. We didn't push it too hard. At the track, I think we're still only, I think we only got it up to 45, maybe pushing 50% ethanol. But yeah, I mean, it worked out really well. But the guys from MAK Autosports, they got that pump installed. They let me hang out there working on the car, tuning it. And then when we were at the track, they were out there with a few of their cars and they let us pit with them. They let us hang out. We're, cooking hot dogs and hamburgers. And it was just, I mean, it was like we were all one big happy family. It was a really cool experience. Those guys down there are awesome. The only other shout out I got right now is Revolution Turbo. They're the guys who did the turbos on Marcelino's car, and I know there's a bunch of different turbo manufacturers out there. There's a bunch of guys building turbos. And the one thing I can tell you is, having worked with some of the aftermarket turbos previously, there's always some sort of something that happens, and it's usually the turbos take way too long to spool up. Well, Hung at Revolution, I had a conversation with him, and he's, telling me about how not only is he upping the compressor wheel, but he's also doing something custom with the exhaust wheel as well to make it a matched housing so that the exhaust and the compressor work together. And I can tell you, it's one of the easiest sets of turbos that I've ever tuned on a car, and they really performed well. So great job to Revolution Turbo. Special thanks to MAK Autosports, and of course xtreme-di. The pump has been working absolutely great. There's more left in it. So yeah, that's that. Um, I'm going to go into the passes here, just kind of set up the videos that you're going to be watching here. Um, Before we went to the track, obviously after dealing with Mac, we weren't able to get the car on a dyno. So we couldn't tune the fuel pump the way that I really wanted to. I was able to set up a basic file for it. And then we needed to test it. So Marcelino and I got together and we just did some real basic testing on the street before we showed up at the track. So technically, when we showed up at the track on Friday, the car had not been down the quarter mile. The car had not been on a dyno in that exact configuration. The first pass he made wasn't perfect. It was still better than, just about any other pass. He had some pretty good mile an hour to it, but it still wasn't perfect. We go back to the pits. I analyze some data, put another tune file in the car, and the second pass was the best pass of the weekend, the best combination of 60-foot time, eighth mile time, quarter mile, and mile an hour. Technically, throughout the weekend, he ran a better 60-foot time. He ran a better eighth mile time. He ran a better mile an hour out the back door. The problem was he wasn't able to put all of that together into one solid pass. So, yeah, it was the second pass. And oddly enough, this was the best part of the whole weekend. Somebody Marcelino put a post up on Facebook, getting ready to do our first pass. And somebody suggested, hey, you should Facebook Live it. And he didn't get the message for the first pass, but the second pass, he actually set up his phone to do a Facebook Live. So the world record pass was actually broadcast live on Facebook. So that was pretty cool. Whoever came up with that idea, it was a great idea, and it just really worked out well. So yeah, the second pass was the best pass of the day. And then the big problem that we had, well, it was that was Friday. Then we had Saturday. We had a couple of test passes, and then on Saturday, the issue is during True Street, you're not allowed to touch the car. So I couldn't look at data logs. I couldn't change his tune file. We couldn't change the fuel. We couldn't do anything to the car. It was just, it is what it is, and that's it. So we come to realize after the second pass on Saturday, that the car was not going to run we weren't going to better the world record that night. Not with the tune file that was in it. We really needed to make some changes to it. But he was running solid 11.8, 11.9, good solid repeatable passes. But he figured, you know what? We're really close to that 12-second bracket. You know what? I'm just going to pedal it at the top end of the track and, see if we can win that 12-second bracket. And it come to find out that he still, even with the pedaling it, he still averaged 11 point, if I remember the math correctly, it was 11.985. So an average for 3 passes with one of them pedaling, he still managed better than the current world record. So, he did a great job. Unfortunately, it was you're not allowed to break out in that class. So, it is what it is. But, he did an excellent job. We came back Sunday and trying to better the passes on Sunday. The problem there is they only run you 8th mile on Sunday. So, we actually got 2 passes in on Sunday before he got eliminated, but the car was, we were playing around with some transmission tuning and whatever, and he actually got a much better 8th mile ET on Sunday, and I think he ran 2 mile an hour better in the 8th mile than he did in the 8th mile when he ran the world record pass. So the car definitely has more in it. You're gonna see the numbers drop here pretty soon. So with that, I'm gonna get to showing you some video.
And thank you for joining the NMRA.
Say hello, Marcelino.
How you doing? Getting ready to make that first pass.
What do you think?
A very special thank you to MAK Performance Products.
Here it is.
Title sponsor of the NMRA.
Very, very unassuming.
Products manufactures the speed and performance products you need to make your Mustang fly.
Looks like any other Ford Fusion.
Number one carburetors on the planet, but now it dominates today's world with Poly EFI.
We're out here. We're pitting with the guys from MAK Autosports. They got a couple of cars out here. Here it is. as you can see, his best ET of the weekend was an 11.76 at 118, almost 119 miles an hour. So we beat the old world record by 0.4 of a second and 6 mile an hour. Now that wasn't the best. Like I said earlier, that he had a better 60-foot time. He had a better mile an hour. He had a better 8th mile time. All of these things together, it was just kind of we were still in test and tune mode during the whole weekend. So the car has got more in it. We're going to be going back to the track here probably at the end of the month, and we're going to try and better the times that we set here. Unfortunately, you know, this was Bradenton, one of the best tracks in the state, and we're going to be going back to Palm Beach where you saw that other video. So keep checking back, and hopefully we'll have another video after we go back to Palm Beach, and he's going to get that record set a little bit deeper. So have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.